What is up, guys? Welcome back to another Packers full mock draft here. We're looking at Pro Football Focus. I'm going to use this simulator for a full 7 round mock draft. And for the most part, like, I don't really care to be correct. I'm trying to just shed some light and see what positions, what potential players the Packers are mainly getting in the first and second round, because they got, two firsts, 2 seconds, and then maybe someone in the third could be interesting. But other than that, I don't really care too much about the fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh picks. I'll still make those picks. But again, we care about the first and the second rounders that the Packers have accumulated. So let's get right into the video. If you've ever used Pro Football Focus Simulator, you could mock draft, every team. I'm just going to select the Packers here. I'm going to set it for 7 rounds, speed, fast, and we'll just hit enter the draft and let's see what happens. What I like about this is it'll give you the team needs, and it kind of tells you some things. You could make some trades. I'm not going to make any trades in this video. I just want to play it straight up. So let's go ahead and just hit start draft, and let's see who's on the board for the Packers. Now, there has been a lot of buzz. Of course, the Packers need wide receiver. There's been a ton of wide receiver buzz the last week or so. Jameson Williams, just missed him. It looks like he went to the Patriots here. Chris Olave, it's been reported that he's been looking to meet with teams as early as the New York Jets. Pick, I think, 4th and 10th. Chris Olave here. There was a trade today. I don't know if you guys caught this. It's April 4th as I record this, but the Saints made a trade with the Eagles. They now have 2 first-round picks. So they get Chris Olave and Malik Willis. Very interesting here. The wide receivers off the board, Drake London and Garrett Wilson. So who does that leave? It leaves the Packers with at least one of the main receivers. And there does, I guess, we could trade here. Our next pick would be the 37th overall pick with the Texans. Not sure I'm into that. But as far as team needs, it says wide receiver and offensive line. The top-rated prospect here for PFF is Devonte Wyatt, defensive lineman, who I like. Nakobe Dean, fun linebacker, who I like. Ojabo, interested to see where he goes. But it's kind of all about that top receiver. And if you guys have watched some of my other mocks, I didn't care for mock number 3. I didn't take a receiver in the first round because they were all gone by the time I was up to pick at 22. But to me, there's kind of a clear top 5. You got Jameson Williams, the field stretcher. I think Matt LaFleur has been on the record saying, we need someone that can take the top off the defense the way MVS did. So I think if Jameson Williams is sitting there at 22, I really like that pick for them. And the Patriots, they just traded for Devontae Parker. So there's a small chance that Jameson Williams squeaks on by. I think if it's Williams versus Burks, I'm probably going to put Jameson Williams in there, but I don't know. The Packers have met with Treylon Burks. They've also met with another receiver who we'll get to later in the draft. But I think for me, the team need here, again, there's really 5 big receivers: Jameson Williams, Olave. You have Drake London and Garrett Wilson. After that, it's clearly Treylon Burks, and there's a bit of a drop off. So here with the first pick at number 22, Packers are going to address their biggest need: wide receiver Treylon Burks out of Arkansas. Really fun receiver. He is a big dude, 6'3", 225, and guess what? He plays mostly in the slot. So you're talking about a guy the size of AJ Brown who can he can run the ball. They actually had him do a bunch of end arounds and get him the ball in space. And just a really good receiving project here. 6'3". I think Rodgers can find a way to make him work in the slot. So we're gonna go ahead and get Treylon Burks here. One of my favorite big receivers in the draft. So after we took Treylon, you see Andrew Booth, Trevor Penning, Devonte Wyatt, Zion Johnson, and Nakobe Dean. That's going to leave us with a few guys here. Now, I should have probably pulled up the Packers depth chart. Let me actually go do that. And I'll show you guys what we could be looking at here. Now, I did do a couple of my mock drafts. I did do back-to-back receivers in the first round. That just seems kind of wrong to do now. That's me being a little bit greedy. So I think this is going to be my best mock draft here. But anyways, we plugged in Treylon Burks at the receiver position. We're not taking a running back. We're not taking a quarterback. Tight end is interesting. Robert Tunyon and Josiah DeGuara, we'll look at tight end round 2. But then you get Bakhtiari. We're locked in with Bakhtiari at left tackle. I think they're going to leave Jenkins as the left guard. Maybe Runyon slides into there, but the Packers do have essentially six linemen that they like. They can kind of do any combination that they want. But I would be surprised if they grab a really strong interior offensive lineman, a right tackle, or we're looking at a guy who can compete with Dean Lowry and Jaron Reed for some time on the defensive line. I like our starting linebackers: Preston Smith, Campbell, Chris Barnes, Gary. We just don't have any depth. We really don't have any depth when it comes to edge or inside linebackers. Our secondary is legit. You got Jair, you got Stokes, you got Razul, you got Amos and Savage. Maybe you could use some secondary help in day 3 of the draft. But here's another tool that I've been using. It's Mock Draft Database, NFLMockDraftDatabase.com. And for the most part, they've been giving us receiver. This website takes a conglomerate of all the various mock drafts and the websites, and they've been giving us Chris Olave, which I think, guys, I think as Packer fans, I would love Chris Olave, but I think he's a top 15, top 20 pick this year. And then they've been giving us Jahan Dotson out of Penn State here too. That's been one of the most popular second round picks. But outside of that, I'm going to list some of the names that come up here. David Ojabo, Devontae Wyatt here. Again, this is, we have 2 first round picks. So this is kind of the second pick. You're going to see Ojabo, Wyatt, Ojabo, Christian Watson. There's Devontae Wyatt, which is interesting. Daxton Hill, the safety out of Michigan. Boy Mafe out of Minnesota. Zion Johnson, Chris Paul from Tulsa. I'm interested in the interior offensive lineman. So let's go ahead and look here. Sam Howell, not interested. Ojabo, I'm interested. He's not going to play this year, guys, but man, he could be. Again, Packers just took Rashawn Gary out of Michigan. They had good success with him, so I could really see Ojabo being the guy. Lewis Klein, safety, Elam, Florida cornerback. A lot of good cornerbacks right here. There's the best edge rusher available, Boy May from Minnesota. Nick Bonito from Oklahoma definitely intrigues me. I don't know if he's on the Packers list, but I could definitely see edge rusher being a primary option here. Or let me just look one quick second at the interior offensive lineman. I see Kenyon Green, Dylan Parham, Zonovan West kind of falls off there. Kenyon Green's interesting, but I don't know if I want to reach on that. As far as tackles go, looking for a right tackle, I don't know if we're going to find one in this range. Abraham Lucas, Darian Kinnard. Again, Tyler Smith, maybe he falls a little bit. I think the move is probably edge rusher at this point of the draft. Again, Ojabo, I like the safeties here. I wouldn't be surprised if the Packers trade down a little bit from this pick to move here. There's no trade options here. But I'm going to go ahead. I'm just going to take the best edge rusher, whatever you guys feel like. We could go another safety, another corner, but I just don't see that being the need here. So I'm going to take Boy Mafe from Minnesota. And if you guys don't know him, you guys can go check out his highlights. But fun player, really fun player. Again, I wish this would show his stats a little bit better, but it shows where he lines up, which is nice to see. 7 sacks last year, 6 sacks the year before. Productive guy. I think, again, coming in as the Packers' number 3 pass rusher. It could be fun. But, again, it kind of feels even Nick Bonito could be a fun option here. He had 8 sacks last year, 8 the year before. He's actually got a better grade. So let's go ahead and just get Nick Bonito in the thing. And Packers taking edge, I think, makes a lot of sense. And then I think in round 2, that's where I'm interested in getting the linemen. Let's see who's available here. We got more edge rushers. Maybe edge rusher round 2 makes sense. As far as offensive lineman, Abraham Lucas. There's maybe some fun receivers here. After talking to some of my friends and some other people about the Packers wide receiver prospects, I mean, Christian Watson, if he made it this far, I think that would be a slam dunk pick. A lot of people like Justin Ross. A lot of my friends, though, they like Alec Pierce. So that one I can see. He's got an ADP of about 67.7. Maybe we snag your wide receiver here. I did want to look at tight end real quick because I think, man, if you told me Trey McBride was going to be available round 2, one that not only Trey McBride's the best all-around tight end in the draft this year. Last year, 91 receptions, 122 targets, 1,125 yards, only 1 touchdown, which is strange. But man, if we put him, starting tight end, I think some really good things can happen. Again, we're not even guaranteed Robert Tunyon's going to be ready for the start of the season. I'd like to think he can. Josiah DeGuara is there, but I could maybe see, again, Packers get Treylon Burks. They got Trey McBride, potential tight end here, but I'm not going to do that. I think it makes sense to maybe just look at all again. You got the safeties, you got the linebackers, Brian Asamoah, interesting guy, good edge depth. But I think what I'm going to go ahead and do, I'm going to take Abraham Lucas, the tackle out of Washington State. Maybe Darian Kinnard, a couple other offensive linemen could be of interest here. I like that Tulsa guy as well. But Packers here, we're going to get a starting right tackle, Abraham Lucas, or he's going to potentially push Josh Neiman for a starting tackle spot. So Abraham Lucas is our guy. And then we're up to pick here again. We missed out on a couple players here. Trey McBride to Buffalo. I don't know if that makes sense, but I do want to look real quick at the depth of the receivers because there's some guys here. Did Tyquan Thornton go? Okay, he's a guy that we're going to try and snag later. I think we have no chance to get Alec Pierce later, so maybe that is the reach here. And I'll tell you what, I'm just going to do it. If you guys haven't watched Alec Pierce yet, we're talking about a 6'3" wide receiver here, 213 pounds, and I believe he had the best vertical jump in the draft this year. So tall, big guy, and it's as a Packer fan, it's hard not to see a little bit of Jordy Nelson in his film. So what we're gonna do here, we're gonna go ahead and grab Alec Pierce, round 2, pick number 59, and now I wish I could see. I wish I could see who I've all picked. I think that would be nice. But so far, we do have. Do I have analysis here? I do have two receivers. I wish I could see where my guys are. We have two receivers, offensive tackle, and an edge rusher here. Let's just see who the best available is. Running back doesn't really make sense. We've kind of already addressed our need. We could always use some more interior offensive linemen. What about this Cole Strange here from Chattanooga? It looks like he's the best guard. Let me actually go ahead and filter IOL. And if we hit ADP here, average draft position for Cole Strange is 85.7. We're at 92 here, so he's an interesting guy. I haven't really looked too much into him. There's some really good guards here though from LSU. You have Ed Ingram, Marquise Hayes. I think maybe getting another guard here does make sense. We haven't addressed the defensive side of the ball that much yet. Let's pull up IOL. Let's pull up defensive lineman, and let's see what we got here. Not really seeing any monsters here on the defensive line quite yet. So maybe let me tap LB. Let me tap LB. No linemen or linebackers sticking out quite yet. Let's go ahead and hit. Let me hit that safety button. There was a lot like Nick Cross from Maryland, maybe Brian Cook from Cincinnati. If anyone watching, if you guys have any thoughts on safety, round 3, I'm open to it. I do want to address tight end real quick. I'm not seeing anybody here that sticks out, but I really like Greg Dulcich out of UCLA. Really fun player. 42 receptions, 725 yards, and 5 TDs last year. The year before, 517 and 5. So I'm probably more of a day 3 tight end guy. I don't know if I want to spend a 3rd round pick on a tight end. So let me go ahead and remove that position. Again, let me take a peek at the receivers. Maybe we grab another receiver here. Romeo Dubes. I think a lot of people like Romeo from Nevada. Really fun to watch with Carson Strong, by the way. But man, I have a feeling, I don't know if I missed him from Baylor, but Tyquan Thornton, he's got an average ADP of 185. I don't want to miss him. Our next pick is not until 132. So I think I'm going to reserve a wide receiver, Tyquan Thornton. If you guys don't know, 4.52 speed, 6'2". He's about 180 pounds. He's a jet. He's going to be the guy that blows the top off the off the defense. So for now, let's go ahead and lock in our interior offensive lineman, Cole Strange, Chattanooga. We got an offensive tackle and a guard here, both high picks. Let's see. I think we might have enough then for our offensive line depth, because I just plugged in a backup guard, I plugged in a backup tackle, maybe another guy, round 6, round 7. But I think for the most part, I like what we have done here. And now we're up to pick again. There's got to be a way for me to see who I've all picked. There's really nothing going on here. All right, that's okay. As far as best players available, Grant Caltera is interesting. Productive player here last year, 38 catches, 465, and 4 TDs. I like tight end, but I don't know if I want to take one this early. We're not taking a quarterback. What about Cordell Flott? 6'1", 165, a bit of a undersized corner here. Don't see the Packers taking an undersized corner. You see some tackles here. Zach Tom from Wake Forest. 6'5". Tom is arguably the most athletic interior offensive line prospect in the class. He's so sudden in his ability to mirror, helping him earn a 92.1 pass blocking grade last season. That sounds really good. Again, we pick at 140. Let me grab one more. Let me grab one more project, maybe. Like this does make sense to me. Grabbing more offensive linemen here. I don't see. There's Chris Paul from Tulsa. He's big board ranks 127, 6'4", 324. Let's see, played at right tackle last year, so maybe that's the move here. I know I took Abraham Lucas early in round 2. Let me just double check Abraham Lucas's positions here. So he's a guy here who, again, he dominated right tackle last year. I think we're fine there with him. And then let me get down to, where was our Cole Strange? Where did he line up? So he lined up at left guard. Potential for him to play right, I'm sure. But let's see here. Pick 132. I'll tell you what, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna lock in my favorite receiver at this point of the draft, and that's Tyquan Thornton. Again, he's the 4-2 guy. Uh, Last year, 62 catches, 941 yards, and 10 touchdowns. Really, really good season, guys. If you haven't watched Tyquan Thornton, yes, he's a little bit of an undersized guy, but he's a burner. I think he could really help stretch the field. So we plugged in Alec Pierce, we plugged in Tyquan Thornton and Traylon Burks. I got 3 wide receivers for us. Now let's start to build that defense, man. Let's see what I can find for some big dudes on the defensive line. Noah Elis, uh, let's see here, 6'4", 367. Let's see where he lined up. Usually in the B gap here, but he does have some experience in the A, so I think he can find a spot with the Packers for sure. Only 1 sack last year, but it looks like he's just a well-rounded kind of guy. He can play run snap and pass rush. Just a big body here. 69.9 graded overall defensive lineman. Let me see if I can find another one here. I'm interested in some linebackers for sure at this point of the draft. Maybe some safeties. Let's take a peek here, though. I want to just see, does any defensive lineman stick out? It's kind of Elise. Although this guy right here, Otito Agbania is interesting. Marquan McCall, a little bit worse of a grade here. And we don't pick again for a while. So I think I'm just going to fall here. I mean, he's ranked 151st of an ADP, 130 overall. Nobody else is really sticking out here. I did like the Zach Tom call, Cordell Flott, small corner. Zaquandre White, a lot of fun. Okay, we're just going to go ahead and I'm going to lock in Noah Elise defensive line. I kind of wish I got some defensive linemen earlier, but again, I don't mind bringing in multiple defensive linemen. How many more picks do we got? We're at 171. So we have 1, 2, 3. We have 4 more picks. We have a 5th round pick and 3 7th coming up yet. So who's sticking out here? We got a linebacker here, DeMarco Jackson. He's big boards ranked 133rd player. He's 6'1", 230 for a linebacker here. He played in the box 804 snaps last year, so I like that. 77 tackles, assists are high, coverage snaps. Apparently he's a really well-rounded coverage linebacker, so I like that. I don't see anything about sacks or whatnot, but I like these. They have him graded as an 83.4 linebacker here. So let's go ahead and grab DeMarco Jackson here, linebacker out of Appalachian State. I'll do some more work on him, but he sounds promising. A small school guy. I think he can slide into our linebacker number 3, behind, of course, Devondre and Chris Barnes. And now we're up to pick number 228. It's saying the punters are the best available. We've plugged in a lot of offensive linemen. I think we could maybe look at some running backs here. I'm interested there for sure. CJ Verdell, interesting guy. Malachi Carter out of Georgia Tech's a lot of fun. Not a very strong play, but Georgia Tech didn't really throw the ball that much last year. But I want to kind of look here. Maybe we do need a backup corner. We could use a backup safety as well. What's this Kendrick Duncan here from Louisville? 70.4 grade overall, not bad. Looks like he is a split kind of box deep guy here. He can play slot though. They have played him in the slot, so I like that. Assisted tackles, defensive snaps, 800. Again, 6'3". This seems like a guy the Packers could slide in there. So I'm going to draft Duncan, get us a backup corner. or was he a safety? I think he was a safety that we could use here. Pick number 249. Again, at this point, like we're just looking for some big bodies. Maybe I look on the defensive line here. Jordan Jackson, Air Force, McKinley Williams, Syracuse, 248. What about this UCF? Or actually, Jonathan Ford from Miami here. ADP of uh, whatever, 6'5", 315. Kind of a low grade there. Not really sure I like that. What about this Jordan Jackson? Jordan Jackson, decent grade here. What about McKinley Williams? Looks like he's probably the highest graded left guy left here. So 6'4", 285. Just adding another body to the defensive line makes sense. I did want to just look again at the main all around here. Dejon Dixon, Nickel State, really good, interesting option. I didn't get that tight end that I kind of talked about at the beginning of the show. Let me see what we got for tight ends available. Luke Kroll, Cameron Latu, Connor Hayward, Jeremiah Hall. Don't really see any tight ends that I like here. So it does feel a little bit scary going in with just Robert Tunyon and our man, um, why can't I think, Josiah DeGuara, but I'm interested here. What about Cameron Latu here? 6'5", 250 from Alabama. Solid grade, 26 catches, 409 yards, 8 touchdowns last year. Let's just grab the kid from Alabama. I'm sure he's a smart player. I'll have to watch some film on him, but I like the idea of getting at least a third tight end on the team here. Pick number 258. Is this our last pick? This is the last pick of the draft, guys. So I don't know what you guys like. I always like the idea of maybe bringing in a running back. I like Tyler Goodson. I think that's where I'm going to leave it. Letty Brown is a lot of fun as well. But Tyler Goodson, he could be a guy that could help return kicks for us. 5'10", 199. Put on a big season last year for Iowa. 1,148 yards. He also caught 31 receptions. I'll take that with my last pick. I'll go ahead and finish off with a Tyler Goodson, and then let's see how I did. If you guys are new to the channel, you should definitely subscribe, like the video. Here we go. We'll kind of do a review. Again, I used PFF. They gave us a B+ for the Treylon Burks pick here. Nick Benito, he had a high grade. I don't know why they're giving me a D. I think their system's a little bit off on his grade, but I've seen him go. Again, let me even show you the big boards here. Nick Benito, where is Nick Benito? They have him here at 53, but peaked at 34. So he's a guy that I see rising. Not sure. Otherwise, we could maybe look at some other defensive ends or David Ajabu there for sure. Abraham Lucas, Washington State. Alec Pierce, Cincinnati. Cole Strange, Chattanooga. So I like our first 5 picks here. We get 2 receivers, two linemen, and 1 defensive lineman. Tyquan Thornton here, Noah Elise, DeMarco Jackson, Kendrick Duncan, Cameron Latu, and Tyler Goodson. So it gives me a B-. Again, maybe I take that Nick Benito pick back here. Let me see who else I passed on. Again, there's Ojabo. We talked about maybe taking Ojabo. It seems like the Packers are more likely to trade back at that point in the draft, though. So we'll see. But that's going to do it. Thanks for watching my mock draft video. This is my 4th mock draft for the Packers. I'll do probably one more before the draft. I'll let this one sit for a week or 2 and maybe do another one. If not, maybe 6, 7. We'll see. So again, thanks for your time. We'll see you guys in a future video. Peace.